Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 22nd TWitWoW monthly Q&A. Guys, we have over 70 questions on this, and we weren't even at 60 as of this morning, but we've gotten over a dozen questions since we woke up today. So you guys have really come out in full force with your questions, and this is the show that we're going to answer every question that you have asked since our last Q&A. John, I mean, right now we're sitting at 72. I think we might get one more. I'm not entirely certain, so we definitely have 72, possibly 73.
Yeah, I mean, I take some responsibility for this. Oh, and Abel did just send one more right at the buzzer. So I'll copy paste that to you in the Hangout.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. I think we should close the window before any more come in. But yeah, this Q&A is going to be insane. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it.
All right, man. Well, first question, actually first set of questions is from James. He asked them the night of the last Q&A and maybe even during the Q&A. First up is for both of us. Do you see there being a day that the two of you leave TWitWoW behind?
I hope that day doesn't come, because I feel like the way we've worked it out has been, wonderful. But what I'm going to say is I'm going to give the honest answer. I'd love to be like, oh no, that'll never happen, TWitWoW forever. I'm going to give the more pragmatic answer of right now that really seems highly unlikely, but circumstances change all the time. And I think we're both grown enough and mature enough to meet those circumstances should they arise and work it out as best we can. So yeah, that's how I'd answer that.
That's pretty much where I am too. I don't plan on leaving TWitWoW behind anytime soon, and based on what John just said, we know that he doesn't either. So in the foreseeable future, no, I don't see there being a day that we leave TWitWoW behind.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to turn heel, it's going to be far more creative than just leaving TWitWoW. I mean, my God, give me some credit. But no, what's our next question?
Our next question from James: why doesn't my mother love me?
Because she doesn't approve of our relationship, because she's a closeted bigot, and I can't wait for her to have a stroke and die. What about you, Ash? Why doesn't James' mother love her?
I was going to have a much simpler answer. I was just going to tell him to look in a mirror and really think about it.
Wow! I'm so proud of you already today. Next question.
Third question is just for you, John. And this is a big reason why I answered the second question the way I did. John, Ashton suddenly disappeared, unable to be your TWitWoW co-host. Who do you replace him with, and why would it be me?
Because you're the sexiest fucking beast on the planet. We can finally live out our fantasy of a kinky sex podcast where you tongue punch my asshole and tickle my colon with your tongue. Yes. God, that'd be the most dominant iTunes podcast ever. So you're obviously the easy choice, James, because I mean, history major, English major, sexy as fuck. I mean, I'm sorry. I know this is probably the wrong room to be saying this, but let's all be real, folks. Adam Cole is incredibly overrated. James is the real triple threat. So there you go.
I'm leaving you.
I knew it. Don't do that. We still have a Q&A to do, and then afterwards, I'm sure we'll talk. So next question.
Next question from James is for me. Thoughts if you got kidnapped, shipped to Pakistan, and sold on the black market, leaving John to replace you with someone else? Well, first of all, have fun trying to kidnap me. Second of all, have fun trying to ship me anywhere. And third of all, go fuck yourself.
Oh my God. I love the commitment. Like, no, this is my spot. Try and take it from me. So yeah, James, I guess we're gonna have to keep ironing those plans out, but I'm sure we'll think of something. Next set of questions.
Next set of questions is from Cliff Amal. First up, and all four of these are for both of us. First up, what is your guys' least favorite video or least favorite series that you've made?
That we've made?
Yeah.
Probably those 9/11 videos that you've mentioned twice now. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, those are private now. No one can see those anymore.
Thank goodness. See, we can overcome the internet. What about you, bud? You just want to co-sign onto that, or do you have an even better answer?
I'll say my least favorite series that we've made was TWitWoW.
Yeah, that lasted so short. I mean, I like the concept, but yeah.
Well, the thing is, guys, being perfectly transparent, the whole reason I wanted to do the TWitWoW thing was because I wanted to make a shorter form version of our version of a Raw review and a SmackDown review, for the sake of trying to bring in subscribers, because I felt like the hour and a half, 2 hour long form reviews that we were doing were turning people off from coming to the channel and sticking here, because people don't necessarily want to stick around for that long. And when they look on our channel and see that everything we do is that long, they would probably be like, oh yeah, fuck this, I don't have the time for this. So I wanted to make TWitWoW for the sake of making us like more sort of available and easier to digest, and I guess digestible would be a good way to put it. And really, I don't even have a big problem with the name, just because the whole purpose of the series was to get people's attention and try and bring people into the channel. And TWitWoW is a name that will do that for people. So I don't regret that, but the series itself was just not fun at all to do. It was kind of tedious, and it made us go live with our actual TWitWoW reviews later than I wanted us to because of that. And yeah, it just was, maybe it was one of those like good concept, bad execution things, but I think it might have just been a bad concept altogether, honestly. So that's
man. Yeah.
Second question from Cliff. What would you say is currently the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling in the 2010s?
I'd put Okada on there.
Oh, geez.
Also Naito. So two guys there from New Japan, because I think they're running shit and they're insanely over.
That's just over the last like 2 or 3 years, though, dude. This is like 2010 to current day.
2010. Well, then Tanahashi, I think, because he's been on top for a while. Like, I'd really fight for Tanahashi to be on there for New Japan, because I feel like he's been a big deal for them. I think John Cena could still keep his place, honestly. So yeah, John Cena, and then 2010s. So Tanahashi, John Cena. What's none of the big really? I'd probably still have to keep it to WWE, huh? I feel like Randy Orton really hasn't been as relevant the last few years. AJ, because no matter where AJ's gone, he's been big talk.
I'm with you so far on Tanahashi, Cena, Styles. I just am not sure who I would put. Maybe Bryan, honestly, would be the fourth.
Yeah, Bryan, I think would be mine, because even when he was out, he was still one of the most over entities in the company. So yeah, Cena, Tanahashi, Styles, Bryan.
Yeah, that's perfect. I agree with you completely. And next question from Cliff. How would Scott Steiner teaching sex ed go down? You know what, Cliff? I'm doing enough Steiner impressions this time around, so rather than giving you an answer in Steiner voice, I'm literally just going to tell you my answer to how that would go down. I think it would go down very poorly, because Scott Steiner probably isn't very educated in sex ed.
No. Before we, rush those conclusions, I think that is the benefit that Scott Steiner, given how he talks, would be a very hands-on educator, so that's always an upside. You see, I'm going to take this, I'm going to shove it in her vagina. And, I mean, yeah, you know what, you're right. Now that I'm visualizing it, it really probably wouldn't go well at all, so I'm just going to double down on what you said. Hands-on education doesn't always work, kids.
So, fourth and final question from Cliff. How would you book a Flat Earth Society faction in WWE, and who would be in it?
Oh my God, where is all this? I mean, I know with James, I don't know where all this Flat Earth stuff's coming from.
No, see, I just saw someone in chat say even Ashton ruins dreams. No, see, what you don't understand is I got like 3 or 4 questions in here specifically requesting that I do Steiner voice. So if there's one that's ambiguous that I don't have to do Steiner voice for, I'm not going to, because you're going to get enough Steiner voice later. Trust me.
As far as a Flat Earth, how would you even do that? Like the SJW faction, like, writes itself. Flat Earth faction.
Really, I think it's the same concept, just tweaked, because really my concept for the SJW faction is you take like 2 or 3 like lower to mid card guys and 1 lower to mid card girl, and you put them in a faction and you give them this gimmick and they start winning because of the whole, faction unity and shit like that. I would do the exact same thing for the Flat Earth thing. You just, rather than having them be, hypocrites and anti, bigotry or whatever it would be in their eyes, you just have them be flat earthers that hate people that think the earth is round and constantly try and educate people on why the earth is flat and shit like that.
You know what? I'm just going to co-sign on you, because I really couldn't come up with anything better, because it just seems like such a peculiar faction. So next question.
Next set of questions, actually. Hypothesis asked for. First up, if WWE successfully establishes a UK brand, Should they establish brands in other parts of the world? And if so, where? And you know what? Hypothesis. You say if. This looks like it's actually Triple H's goal. Like he had some kind of like a press conference or a presentation or something within the last week or so where he said like he wants to establish NXTs all over the world. And we're kind of assuming at this point that the one in the UK might as well just be fucking Progress, because really Progress and NXT are 100% in bed together. There's no doubt about that. We've seen like we saw Tommy End work for NXT. We saw Pete Dunne holding the UK title in an episode in Progress. Like they are like the line between NXT and Progress is being blurred hardcore over time. And especially if you take into account stuff like, you know, the access shows and stuff like that, where you get Progress people working NXT and stuff like that. So yeah, it's getting blurred. And I think that Triple H's goal of his is to do the same thing in other countries too. So I think it is happening. And as far as where, it looks like they're going to do 2 or 3 in Europe, maybe 1 or 2 in Africa. I think they want 1 or 2 in Southeast Asia, like in the China, and then maybe like Japan, China, India, like somewhere in those areas, and maybe even 1 in Australia and like 1 or 2 in South America. I don't know.
I could agree with all those places. I mean, really, any place that WWE is recruiting talent, they may also be like skulking out, you know, to kind of plant their roots, so to speak. And I'll tell you, and like I'm being serious, because there's been like a lot of, I'll call it quasi, because I don't think it's too serious, but a lot of quasi political commentary going on about the Saudi Arabia show. Yeah. If there are ever cultural shifts in those places, you best believe that WWE is going to be the first one in line to plant roots. Like, you know,
I mean, really, this Saudi Arabia show, it's almost them trying to push them in the right direction in a way.
Yeah, like you gotta understand that WWE is a business, I feel like, is a microcosm of the US as a country. Like if things change, we're gonna be all over that. Like, for example, in Cuba, the moment Castro died, like that's when they really started opening up talks about trade again and shit. You know, like so when shifts happen, you're gonna see other stuff happen. And I think if, you know, places like that had cultural shifts, you know, certain leaders get out of the way, whatever, WWE is always gonna see business opportunities. Always. I know Gail Kim even said recently in an interview, like the whole women's revolution, and we've been saying it since day one, so it's nothing novel. It was a business move because you look at the cultural shift of more women at the forefront. So WWE is always paying attention. And
not to mention Triple H and Stephanie can't bear a son, so they had to go out of their way to make sure that women got respected.
Exactly. But I mean, you get my overall point that like they're always going to have their finger on the pulse, and whatever areas are really advantageous to, you know, kind of the social wins, as I'll call them, they'll be there. So I'm not even going to name specific locations. It really is just what's hottest at the moment, socially, culturally, etc. So yeah, I agree with everything you said and then some. So for sure.
Absolutely. Second question from Hypothesis. Would you get a Nintendo Switch if it actually gets Pokemon Gen 6 remakes? Or no, Gen IV, so that's 4. So Gen 4 Pokemon remakes.
Dude, I'd get it for Mario Odyssey alone. Like that game, I've heard nothing but brilliant things. Then you throw in some Pokemon. Like, yeah, I'd get one for sure.
I actually have kind of a hot take involving the Pokemon remakes. I think they need to remake Gen 1 before they do a Gen 4 remake, because Gen 1 is on more outdated hardware than Gen 4. Because you got to remember, Gen 4 is on the DS. Like, that's much more recent than even the Gen 1 remakes, Fire Red and Leaf Green, because those are only on Game Boy Advance. So I think that Gen 1 needs a second round of remakes. And whether they want to do that on the Switch or the 3DS or whatever the hell they do it on, I think Gen 1 needs a new round of remakes before Gen 4 gets it remakes. So that's where I'm at with that. And regardless, I want a Nintendo Switch. I just can't fucking afford it.
Dude, same boat. That's all I'm going to say about it. Next question.
Yeah. So third question from Hypothesis. If you ended up playing Sonic Forces, choose your custom hero's species: dog, wolf, rabbit, bear, cat, bird, hedgehog. I already know your answer, so just get that out of the way.
Wolf.
Obviously. I would probably go with a bear, just because bears are cool as hell.
Hell yeah. Next question.
Fourth and final question from Hypothesis. What are your thoughts on the Count Dankula situation?
No idea what that even is.
Okay, well then I'll explain it. Count Dankula was I believe, Scottish YouTuber who put up a video of him talking about how his girlfriend, I want to say, girlfriend, fiance, wife, I don't know, his significant other, thinks that the dog that she has is just so adorable and cute. So he wanted to turn it into the least cute thing that he could possibly think of, which was a Nazi. So he taught the little dog to raise its paw every time he said Sieg Heil. And he actually got into legal trouble for this. He is legitimately probably going to end up spending time in jail for teaching a dog to do the Nazi salute as a joke.
Seems like a bit of an overreach. And plus, given my politics anyway, despite the fact that I've come on here and I've said, I'm anti-Nazi, pro-Antifa, whatever, I'm also hugely against the incarceration state for reasons like this. So I'm going to say, fuck that. I don't think the guy should go to fucking prison. Do I agree with the joke? Not necessarily, but it is that, a joke.
But the thing is, the joke is literally that he's trying to make the dog into something that isn't cute. Like he's saying, like, yeah, Nazis are bad. That's why I did it, to prove that, like, I can make something cute not cute by making it a Nazi. That's the joke.
Right. And again, for me, it's whatever. Like, I don't really care for that. But do I think you should be locked up? No, absolutely not. That's way too much of an overreach.
Do you think you should be fined or punished in any way? Really?
I mean, punished in any way? No, just, don't give him attention. I wouldn't. I didn't even know who he was. I'm going to forget about him in the next 5 seconds when we're answering the next question. That's kind of my mindset about it. So
yeah, I think that it's a fucking ridiculous case of legitimate censorship, and not like, oh, YouTube is demonetizing videos that they don't find kid friendly kind of censorship. That's not the same thing as actual censorship. That's like a form of censorship, but it's like a mild form of censorship. This is actual real censorship. They're trying to tell somebody you can't think or do this thing that doesn't hurt or cause any kind of physical or bodily or even mental or emotional harm to anybody because it's offensive. That's incredibly fucked up in my opinion.
Right. So next question.
Next question is, we have 4 from Rotten Butter. First up is the obvious Rotten Butter question that he asks to start every Q&A. Cool shit that you've listened to, watched, played, etc., read this month.
I mean, it's the usual for me. I've been listening to more of Breaking Benjamin's latest stuff, which I feel like they've gotten even better over time. I've loved the stuff that they've released recently. Watched the anime Kakegurui. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's the gambling addict anime. Very well done. It's only like, I think, 10 episodes, I want to say. So it's really short. It's on Netflix. Oh, also, anybody that's watched Crybaby Devilman, let me know, because that is one fucked up anime. I did not expect it to be as like crazy and then as profound as it got in the later episodes. So that was another thing. Finished off Bates Motel. I thought the finale to that was fucking great. Still playing Rocket League with Ashton. Still doing 2K, I want to say 16 with Philosophy Podcast. I've been consuming some good philosophy stuff, but as you guys know, I never really get into that. I don't want to bore you guys. So, doing that. Still doing some writing here and there. I should probably be doing more of that. And can't really think of anything else that's like a standout. So I'm just going to hand it over to you. Because, yeah, those are the really like big kind of highlights I've done this month, I feel like.
Yeah, I've done like nothing this month that actually involves like consuming media. My entire month has been dedicated to researching the draft. So really any TV shows or movies that I've watched this month have been with you. Any games that I've played, like the only game that I really play without you is fucking Maple Story, which is just like an unwind thing for me that I do when I don't feel like working on draft shit. And like, yeah, Rocket League is about the extent of the other shit that I've played this month. It's been like this entire month has just been dedicated to me researching and talking with other people about the draft. So that's
all right. Well,
second question from Rotten Butter. What is the hardest you've laughed during a wrestling match?
Oh God! Anytime Shinsuke's hit AJ in the scrot recently, I'll say the hardest I've laughed recently was just this past. Well, not even this past Tuesday, but just like this past week, recapping Shinsuke's latest low blow on AJ, and then when he Kinshasa's Carl Anderson right in the face. I was fucking dying. Like Shinsuke's got a line to my funny bone right now with his heel antics that I didn't even think existed. So I'm just going to say like any of that is kind of like a broad brushstroke kind of answer. But what about you, Ashton?
I'm thinking. It's tougher because he specifically said wrestling match. If it would have just been a wrestling segment, I would have had a good answer. But during a match, um, shit. You know what? Probably the match where the Worldwide Underground first won the trios titles. If you go back and listen to our live reactions to that, I was dying laughing when they were doing their low blows shit because of how creative they got with the low blows and how underhanded it all was. I died laughing during that. So that's just going to be my default answer, mostly because that's the only answer I can actually think of right now.
Sweet. Next.
Third question from Rotten Butter. Other than anime or wrestling shows, what are some foreign shows and films that you enjoy? Well, as far as, I mean, John, you know the film that we watched, and I'll talk about that after you get your shit in, but I don't really know if I watch any foreign shows other than just the DB Super abridged, or not abridged, DB Super subbed. That's right. The extent of the foreign shows that I watch. But yeah, there's one foreign film in particular that John and I have watched that I absolutely love that I will talk about once he's finished.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that to you because honestly, it even escapes me what you're talking about. If I'm being true, though, I'm sure when you said, I'm like, oh. But I want to say one thing that I have watched, and then one thing that I am looking into when I get freed up, which should be like around June, July, and I can't fucking wait because I have so many plans. One, the Netflix show Dark. It's this German show. It kind of has like a Stranger Things type vibe. Really crazy, but really good. And then when I get freed up, I really want to watch the films of Japanese filmmaker Kurosawa, because I hear he's a very philosophical filmmaker. And the films I want to watch in particular are Rosh Hashan. I think that's how you say it, or it's Rosh Hashan or Rosh Hashan. And Seven Samurai is actually a really long one, like over a 3-hour film, but I hear it's really good. So I definitely want to check out that. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it. So yeah, what were you getting ready to say? Because
it's funny you say it's a really long film at 3 hours because the movie.
I know where you get.
Yeah, the one we watched that I want to talk about is 4 hours long. That's called Love Exposure. It's a
yes, dude, yes,
and it is legitimately one of the best movies I've ever seen, and it's really, really good and really like. Sure, it's 4 hours long, but if you actually watch the movie, you think back to like, oh, what could they have cut out of that to make it shorter? And there isn't a good answer to that question. It's just a great 4 hour long experience. So if you ever get the time, which I know is not an easy thing to do, is just set aside 4 hours of your day. But if you ever get the time, like if you ever are like in bed like 3 or 4 hours before you would normally know for sure that you were going to fall asleep, or like you can wake up later the next day, pull out your laptop or your phone, find Love Exposure, but make sure to find the 4 hour version, because there is like a 90-minute cut of it that's a lot less amazing. So make sure you find the 4 hour version and watch Love Exposure. It's a great freaking Japanese movie. And of course, you're going to need subtitles, assuming you don't know Japanese, which I'm assuming most of the people in here don't. Although, does James know Japanese, John?
Maybe very little. I don't know. I mean, we don't really exchange it much in the bedroom, so I couldn't really tell you one way or the other.
Yeah, you just wanted to figure that out. All right, so then fourth and final question from Rotten Butter. Who watches The Watchmen?
You know, funny story. I started reading the comics, but I never finished the comic book series. But I know you and I have both watched the Zack Snyder film adaptation, which is actually quite good. So I know that doesn't answer your question, but the last time he did a reference thing, I didn't get it. And then you were like, it's a reference, John. So I just wanted to let everybody know I came out under my rock. I know what this is referencing. So there you go.
Yeah, it's a reference to, I'm pretty sure it is just a reference to the original graphic novel, but it was also in the movie a lot and shit like that. But yeah, it's a reference. So
yeah.
4 questions from Races Fan Rocks. First up, if you're on a Legends of the Hidden Temple show, what team would you be on?
I can't even really answer this because I don't know what teams there are to pick. Can you clue me in, Ashton?
Oh, geez. Well, I'll tell you my answer immediately is the Purple Monkeys, because I love the Purple Monkeys. But John, God, let me see if I can remember the names of the teams. I'm gonna look up the teams and I'll
even just say that I'll be on any team that you're on, because TWitWoW on a team is just unstoppable. So I'll go Purple Monkeys too. I wouldn't even waste the time.
I mean, if there's like a Silver Wolves team, you're gonna want in on it, but I don't think there is. Let's see. What are the team? I know there's like the Blue Barracudas, the Silver Snakes, I want to say. Obviously, I just said the Purple Monkeys. Shit. Teams. Oh God. All right, Crazy Legends of the Hidden Temple team names. Let's see. Blue Barracudas. I already said that. Green Monkeys. Green Monkeys is purple parrots. Silver Snakes, red jaguars, orange iguanas.
I'll still be on your team. That sounds good to me.
All right. Well, I mean, if I have to pick knowing that purple monkeys isn't a thing, I'm going to go with the purple parrots because I like purple more than I like monkeys. So I'm going to roll with the purple parrots. Although my next choice would be the red jaguars because I fucking love jaguars too. So
yeah,
my choices. Next up, I believe that was our final question from Rotten Butter. So, or no, that was actually our first question from Racist Fan Rocks. Up next, we've got a second question from Racist Fan Rocks. He said, since you're trying to get into soccer, are you going to start watching it? And if so, what team are you going to go for? And he said that he's going to be going for Iceland. And to answer this question straight up, I don't know if I ever said that I was trying to get into soccer so much as somebody asked if I had to get into another sport other than football, what would it be? And I said soccer, but I'm not actually planning on trying to get into soccer anytime soon. I've got too much shit on my plate involving football to get into another sport right now. So, John, do you have an answer for this?
Yeah, my hobbies don't leave me much time for hobbies. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no, I don't have time for soccer either, bro. Next question.
Yeah, and my thing is like I can't just kind of get into something casually. If I start to like something, I dedicate a lot of time to learning the ins and outs of it and trying to figure out like, you know, trying to formulate my own opinions and not just rely on other people to make opinions for me. You know what I mean?
And see, bro, I will say, like, even though you and I, like, I don't want to, maybe cognitively isn't the right word, but it's the word I'm going to use because I don't want to keep wasting time. Like, cognitively, like, we approach the world differently. I do agree with you on that in that respect. When I've tried to get into new sports, I always try and learn the basics so I can pick it up quick. Like, I remember there was a time I tried to get into hockey, so I wanted to, like, learn the positions and the rules, you know, all that stuff, so I didn't have to ask a million questions to the person next to me, and I could just enjoy the game immediately. That's just how I operate trying to get into new stuff, and that takes a lot of time. So, yeah, I wouldn't really have time for soccer right now. So.
You know what though? That's why I like curling. Curling is simple.
Yeah, there you go. It's just straightforward. It knows what it is.
Like if I had to pick a second favorite sport, it would probably be curling.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that about you, so yeah, that's no surprise.
All right. Third question from Racist Fan Rocks. God damn it. I guess this is just for me because he said he specifically said Ashton, since you watch Olympic hockey, what country had the best jersey? Dude, I watched maybe like 5 games, so I've seen a grand total of maybe like, honestly, since there were some repeats, probably like 5 or 6 teams. So like, I mean, of the ones I watched, I guess I would say Finland had the coolest jerseys. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not. You're asking me questions that I'm very ignorant about. I'm sorry.
Next question looks like, is that a both of us question? What the heck? Because yeah, like I'm reading it, I don't really know.
Yeah, no, I told him that something had to change, and he told me to just drop certain things and stuff like that. And basically, the gist of it is, I'm supposed to be Scott Steiner, and I'm supposed to be like taking an order at my restaurant. Which, first of all, if Scott Steiner is working at his restaurant, he's in the back in an office crunching numbers. He's not out front taking orders from plebs, okay? But second of all, Scott Steiner, even if he was working at a restaurant, he wouldn't be trusted to be in the front to take orders. He would be a fucking cook. He did say, John is a customer at Steiner's restaurant ordering wings. I'm supposed to be Steiner, and then you're supposed to start a riot. I don't know.
So, okay. God, I really should start taking acting classes for these fucking Q&A questions.
We might need to just start saying like, don't fucking request role plays anymore. That's not what we do. These are for questions.
Yeah, these are question and answer, people. Should we just skip this and just like go to the next thing?
I would. You know what? Yeah, here's what we're gonna do. Racist Fan Rocks. We're not doing role plays unless it's like reasonable, and it's like, oh hey, Scott Steiner in a Japanese fish market. Just general requests like that. Maybe if you're lucky, we'll do. But super specific shit like that. I tried to tell him like, don't be so specific, and he was like, he wanted to keep the most specific shit. So what we're gonna do, Racist Fan Rocks, to make up for not doing this the way that you want us to do it, we're going to let you ask 5 questions next month. We're going to give you a little extra breathing room to make up for only doing 3 of your 4 questions this month. And we're going to let you do 5 next month. And I'll try and remember that we're going to give him up to 5 next month if he wants them. But yeah, we're not going to do these like overly specific role-playing scenarios. So up next, then we got 4 questions from Shay Luna Corva. And the first one, I got to tell you, is a really interesting one that I've actually already put a little bit of thought into.
Oh, well, that puts me at quite a disadvantage. But what is it?
It's really, I've put thought into like the first part of like the 10-part question. It's like, it's one of those questions. So,
oh God. All right.
Basically, the question is, if you could create the perfect wrestler by combining traits of multiple real life wrestlers, who basically, who would you take these traits from? And then he lists all the traits. And then he said, rules are, you can only pick 1 wrestler for each category. No overlap, meaning you and I have to pick different wrestlers for each category. The other rule that he added was we go 1 category at a time, alternating who gets the first pick. So I'll get the first pick for the first category, then you'll get the first pick for the next category, etc. And then if one person picks a wrestler, the next person can't pick the same wrestler. That way we don't get 2 people picking. For example, he used Zack Sabre Jr. for technique. He wants us to have to think outside of the box and be creative. So this is like the long form question that I can have fun with. Like none of that role playing shit. I'm so bored of the role playing shit. But John, the categories in question are power, technique, speed/agility, moveset, promos, charisma, selling, look, out of character / backstage attitude, work ethic, in-ring psychology, and mind for the business.
Jesus. Okay, so let's just take it one step at a time. You said the first thing was power. Do you want to take the first category or should I?
I want Jeff Cobb's power.
Okay, what's next?
Well, no, who are you picking for power?
Oh, I thought you were going to get power and I was going to get another. Okay, so we each have to. Okay. Now I'm understanding because it's a lot of information for me to process. I'm slow. I'll take Braun Strowman's power.
All right, now you get to pick first for technique.
Now this can only be living wrestlers, right? Because that's what I'm assuming. That's the assumption.
I mean, he didn't. I don't think he specified, but I would still just.
But yeah, it's a safer bet. Technique, I'll do what he said. Zack Sabre Jr.
I'll take Yuji Nagata.
Okay, next.
Next is speed/agility. I'll take Leo Rush.
I'll take Ricochet.
Okay, next up is moveset. You go first.
Moveset, let me think. I'll take Brian's moveset.
Damn, I was gonna take that too. Good call. All right. Moveset. I'm gonna go with Tanahashi's moveset, actually.
All right.
Promos. God, I wish I could pick CM Punk here, but I won't. I'll take for promos. By the way, I wanted to ask you, do you have a specific like character or anything like that in mind? Like, are you thinking heel character, face character? Like,
I mean, I guess heel because I'm an asshole.
Okay.
But I really
that's perfect though, because you can do the heel character and I'll make a face character. That's perfect.
Okay.
So for promos, I want who cuts the best face promos in the world today. So just based on really lack of better options, I'll say John Cena.
I thought you were going to go Becky Lynch. I'm kind of surprised. The Miz.
I knew that. That's why I asked, because I wanted to go with The Miz because his promo talent is elite, but I didn't really know if I wanted to stick with the heel stuff. All right, next up is charisma. Ooh. I'm going to go with L.E. Oh, no, wait. You go first for charisma.
I was going to take Nakamura's charisma.
I'm glad you did, because I was going to pick El Idolo himself, Andrade Cien Almas. So then for selling, this is kind of one that I wanted to ask about. I don't think Shay is even in chat right now, unfortunately. But for selling, I wanted to pick somebody that you already picked for another category. Do you think that would be okay?
He's not here. So I'm going to say right now.
Because for selling, I want Ricochet. And I didn't pick Ricochet for my speed agility. You did. But I want Ricochet for his selling.
And for me, for selling, you know what? I'm going to go Dean Ambrose for selling.
All right. And how about look? Whose look do you want?
That's easy. Drew McIntyre.
God damn it. You took him. Shit. Oh.
Starting to think more like you. How's that feel?
Damn. That's really horrible, though, because like that's like the clear-cut #1 draft pick in this category.
You know what? Since you let me have, I'll back up because I had an alternate. I still feel like, despite pushing 40, that AJ has a good look. So I'll take AJ Styles.
Oh, wow. That's such a downgrade to me. Are you sure you don't want to just stick with...
I'm positive. Look, if you really wonder, you were kind enough to let me have certain stuff, I'll take AJ because AJ would have been in the back of my mind. So
all right, I'll take Drew then. And then the out of character / backstage attitude, I want Killian Dane.
Backstage attitude? God, I wish Bully Back was still working.
Yes.
God, I love him so much. Backstage attitude... Because I know there's, you know what? Jason Jordan. That's what I want. Fucking petulant, overconfident, little. No, I'll go Jordan.
No, you got to remember that this is like out of character.
Oh, out of character? Oh, then I know who I want. Oh, actually, no, I'm torn between two guys.
Yeah, that's why I went Killian Dane, because his Twitter game is fire.
I'll go Ciampa.
Oh, yeah, that's
cool. I was torn between Ciampa and Joe, but I'm going to go Ciampa.
All right, work ethic. You go first for this one.
That I will go with Joe. Dude's a fucking grinder. I love it.
All right, work ethic. I will go with Ambrose. I mean, you picked Ambrose for his selling. I'm going to pick him for work ethic because, again, he is like that guy. Like, he had the most matches for the last like 5 years before he got injured. So, yeah. All right, up next, in-ring psychology. I'm going with Gargano.
I'm gonna go with psychology. I'm gonna go with Naito.
Nice. And then you pick for Mind for the Business.
Mind for the Business.
And this is really specifically the person's mind for the wrestling business as a whole, not just their psychology for the match itself.
You know what? Because I've always said that he reminds me of Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash is always like, there are two things real in this business. What you got from your guy, Captain Lou Albano, the money and the miles. I'm going to go Baron Corbin, because that seems to be his mindset. And if not Baron, runner-up would be Brock Lesnar, because he's about getting his money and getting the fuck out, whether people like it or not. I honestly respect it. Like, he knows what he wants, and he gets after it. So, I'll say... Yeah.
For my pick, for you got Corbin. For my pick for Mind for the Business, I'm going Chad Gable, because he's picked it up so quickly. And he gets it as far as like catchphrases and drive and babyface fire and all that. And like, he was a compelling heel. Like, he's got a great mind for the business in my eyes. I think he's the kind of guy that I would want, like, the perfect wrestler to think like.
There you go. All right. Next question.
All right. There you go, Shay. That was actually a lot of fun. I appreciate little games like that. Second question is for you, John, and this is a really interesting existential question for you. I hope you appreciate this.
Oh, I read it. It's quite a brain buster. I mean,
yeah, if Johnny Goodfellow represents love and joy, does that mean that he loves Johnny Mundo more than Johnny Scumbag? Alternatively, if Johnny Scumbag likes Johnny Mundo more because of the scumbag factor, doesn't that automatically mean that he's capable of care and love?
This almost seems like something that you would see out of a platonic dialogue, which is why I love it so much. I'm trying to remember which one I'm even thinking of, but it's not coming to me right now. But regardless, I feel like love and care always have a certain object. Like, we love X or we care about X. So I feel like that's always the qualifier. What do I love or care about? Johnny Scumbag loves and cares about other people in pain. Like, I love Johnny Gargano only when he's suffering. Seeing him stretchered out on this last episode of NXT, I loved him more than I've ever loved him in my life. And, so I think it's always specific. So I love Johnny Mundo in the sense that he's a bad guy. But if he were to turn face, Johnny Goodfellow would probably also feel like a great sense of love. Because it's like, yay, he's seen the light and all that fucking garbage. So, yes, I can concede that Johnny Scumbag loves. but we always love something. There's always got to be an object to correlate with that emotion, and I think that object is important. So that's how I'm going to answer that question.
All right, I can appreciate that answer. Third question from Shay: 5 matchups you want to see, and he gave us 3 different promotion versus promotion scenarios, and then he actually added that he wanted to know if we had any specific stories to tell in mind. So the first scenario is Lucha Underground versus New Japan. So John, what we're going to do is I'm just going to have you go first on this. Name a Lucha Underground versus New Japan matchup, just one matchup that you like. Then I'll go, and we'll go back and forth until each of us has 5, and then we'll move on to our next promotional matchup.
Yeah, I like when we do it like that. For me, it's easy. Johnny Mundo versus Okada.
Nice. I like that a lot. Yeah. For me, I'm going to say Mil Muertes versus Tanahashi.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Matanza versus Ishii.
Oh, I'm going to say, dude, holy shit. That's amazing. Yeah. God damn. All right. I am going to say Cage versus Makabe.
A bit of a weirder match. And this is the last one, right? Because we're up to 4 now, right?
I said 5 each.
Oh, 5 each. Shit. Okay, then this is my third match.
Yeah.
Marty the Moth versus Naito.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna actually go Pentagon versus Naito.
Nice. Suzuki versus Cage.
Nice, very nice. I'm gonna go Matanza versus Suzuki.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Let me think here, because I want this to be a big one. I haven't done Tanahashi yet, right? So
No, you haven't. Oh, Tanahashi was my pick to go against Muertes.
Tanahashi versus Pentagon Dark.
Nice. And I am going to do how about this one? Okada versus Phoenix.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one.
Right? Yeah. All right. So that's 5 each for LU versus New Japan. Now let's do LU versus WWE. I'll go first here. For Lucha Underground versus WWE, first match that I feel like we need to get is Cage versus Strowman.
Johnny Gargano versus Matanza.
Oh my God, that was scumbag right there.
That's not, and can I just say, it's not even just being a scumbag. Johnny Gargano is so great at being sympathetic and so great at selling. Like, that match writes itself in terms of the drama. Like, so yeah.
We got a $2 super chat from Cliff Amal. Hiromu versus Paul London for the LU versus New Japan one.
Oh, nice. I like that. So you're up.
My first WWE matchup was Cage versus Strowman. Yours was Matanza versus Gargano. My second one, I am going to go with. You know what? I actually saw this suggested in chat and I love it, but I'm going to tweak it a little bit. Rather than doing Mundo versus Miz because I want them both to be heel, I'm going to do the Dirt Sheet teaming up all over again, and we're still going to keep it Lucha Underground versus WWE because then the other team is going to be what did they call themselves? London and Kendrick is what I would go with.
Yeah.
We're going to do some real intermingling here. London and Kendrick are going to be the good guys though, and Mundo and Miz are going to be douchebag heels in their current forms.
Mil Muertes versus Samoa Joe.
Mil Muertes versus Samoa Joe. That's really interesting. You know what though? I think I'm going to steal Mil Muertes' idea, but I'm going to put him up against Undertaker because that just makes sense to me.
All right. Johnny Mundo versus Seth Rollins.
Oh, that's a barn burner right there, buddy. I want to do man, this is a lot more difficult just because I feel like there are a lot more different interesting options with this one than there were with LU versus New Japan. Let's see. Have I used Matanza yet? I don't think I have.
No, I don't think you have either.
No, because yeah, the one was Cage versus Strowman, and then the tag match, and then whatever the one was that I just did that I don't even remember.
You did Mill versus The Undertaker.
Oh yeah, Mill Taker, and then for my fourth match, I am going to do Matanza versus Killian Dane.
Nice.
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to do AJ Styles versus PJ Black.
Nice. I love that because I used to say that like Justin Gabriel could be WWE's answer to AJ Styles, what he is in TNA back in the day. So that's perfect. And for my final WWE versus Lucha Underground match, I am going to go with, let's see. How about this one? Mariposa versus Becky Lynch.
Ooh, I like that. For my final matchup.
Remember, dude, Cliff had us react to them facing each other in like their like 2006 form. So a more current version of that could be really good.
Yeah, that's true. My final matchup, Marty the Moth versus Daniel Bryan.
Nice, nice. All right, final promotion versus promotion matchup, WWE versus New Japan. You can go first for this one.
Wait. What's WWE versus New Japan? You said okay. All right, WWE versus New Japan. It's weird that AJ and Nakamura are in WWE now, and I feel like I could rehash some New Japan matches, but I don't necessarily want to. You know what? John Cena versus Tanahashi is a match I've thought about over and over. Got to do that. John Cena versus Tanahashi.
Yeah, I kind of figured one of us was going to go there, and I'm actually kind of glad that that was your pick because I'm the one that's always saying, like, no, Tanahashi isn't New Japan's John Cena. He's their Austin, you know?
Right.
I'm going to go, though, with Naito versus Daniel Bryan.
Ooh, I like that contrast.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe versus Suzuki.
Oh, I love that. How about this one? Let's see if you like this. Andrade Cien Almas versus Tanahashi.
Yes. I'm gonna take the Andrade idea because it's really a crime that I haven't booked him yet, only because like I feel like he's God tier. So I'm gonna do Andrade versus Okada.
Damn, that's a match of the year waiting to happen right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Who's like a sawed off piece of shit in WWE, like a real jackass, but not like a super big one.
I mean, Miz is a jackass.
But like a good like in ring guy though.
Ciampa.
Ciampa versus Ishii.
Ooh, I like that. Bit of a weirder one, but I think the contrast would be good. Pete Dunne versus Hiromu Takahashi.
I like that. That's interesting. I love Hiromu. I haven't booked him yet either. I should find someone to face Hiromu. Let's see. Hiromu versus Buddy Murphy.
Oh, I like that. That's different. Naito versus Daniel Bryan. So
that's wait, isn't that the one that I did?
Is that the one you did? Or no, yeah, you did. You did. And I said I like the contrast. Shit. But I do want to use Naito, so let me think. I don't think I booked AJ yet. So I'll do Naito versus AJ Styles.
There you go. And then I think we each have one left, right?
Do we? I thought that was my final.
Oh, no, that was your last one. I have one left.
Yeah.
So my last one. Here's someone that neither one of us has booked yet. How about Kenny Omega versus Nakamura?
There you go. Oh, I love that. The battle of the knees. Yes.
Yeah, because Kenny Omega turned heavyweight as Nakamura was leaving the company, and I don't think they ever had a one-on-one match.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I love it. All right. Next, fourth and final question from Shay, from Luna Corva. What is it that makes Daniel Gargano and Sami Zayn unique from each other? And not just like, oh, one's better than the other, but actually different.
I feel like Gargano has the best look.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you take size into account, I think Zayn has an argument for best look. I mean, I think we would agree Brian probably has the worst look just because he's Gargano's size and isn't built as well as either of the other two guys. But from a pure in-ring perspective, I think Brian's the best of the three.
Yeah.
Like I would say, like
a talker for me when
I think they're all great talkers, honestly.
Yeah, it really is hard to distinguish. I was gonna say I really like Zayn as a talker compared to the other two, but Gargano can really cut a fiery promo when he needs to.
And Brian's promos are just so genuine all the time.
Yeah.
I think that the biggest thing for me that sets them apart from each other is that, like, with Sami Zayn, I think he is a guy where his matches are really more centered around moments. Like, whether it's him doing something to his opponent or his opponent countering something or doing something to him, I think Sami Zayn's matches are really focused on these big moments that happen in them. Like, one big moment that happens in some of his bigger matches is the through the ropes tornado DDT on the outside. That's like this big impact moment that Zayn has sometimes in his matches. And I feel like that kind of stuff doesn't really happen in Bryan and Gargano's matches, because I feel like Bryan's matches are just structured like really, really well put together WWE main event matches. Gargano's matches are always more like emotional and really like trying to like force you to feel the story that's being told. Honestly, I would say Gargano feels most like a PWG guy out of the three, because that's a PWG thing where like they don't really have quote unquote storylines and promos and like acting segments and skits and stuff. They tell all of their stories through in ring. And that's Gargano right there. Like, Daniel Bryan and Zayn both are really good at the character work outside of the ring, but inside of the ring, Gargano, I think, is the best like actor, the best character worker, but it's all in the ring. Like, he doesn't do a lot of that stuff outside of the ring. Whereas I think Zayn, I would argue that if we're talking about overall promo ability, I would agree with you that Zayn is the best of the three. But that's mostly because I think Zayn cuts great face and heel promos, and we've seen both now.
Yeah.
Gargano, like, I think Gargano is probably the weakest on the mic, but he can still get you to like him. And then D-Bry, I think he cuts amazing, like, touching, emotionally, like, connecting, like, genuine face promos. But his heel promos were always like comedic and goofy and like over the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, get the hell out of my ring, AJ. That kind of shit. Or like, get your hand off of my shoulder. Like, that kind of stuff. Like, Bryan, when he was a heel in WWE, and really, Bryan as a heel is a fucking serial killer. Like, Bryan will murder a bitch as a heel. I don't think either of the other guys are as vicious as Bryan as a heel.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. So yeah, we've actually been able to extrapolate quite a few distinctions between the three. So I think we can move on to our next set of questions.
And those are from Ella on Twitter. First up, what would you say is the biggest difference between you two? Between us, John?
Yeah, I've always said, I just think like how you and I intellectually approach the world. Like, you're far more analytical than I am. I'm more abstract, and I definitely think that's the biggest difference between the two of us for me. Always has been.
Definitely, because that's a great way of putting it. And then I think the other really huge difference between us is that I am pretty strictly anti-violence, and I know that you've said on here multiple times before that you think that there are definitely great situations that violence is a necessity in.
Yes, absolutely.
I would say that's like another gigantic difference between the two of us.
Absolutely.
All right. Second question from Ella. Have you ever had a bully at school?
You know, I've never had like a defined bully, but I've had moments of what I would personally consider ableist violence. I remember when I was a kid in elementary school, I used to have this special stall, to accommodate my disability to use the bathroom, and somebody vandalized it one time. And it was like all this graffiti, like, oh, get rid of disabled people, like all this kind of stuff. And that was pretty horrifying, but I don't think I ever really had a defined bully. I had some people that like annoyed me, but like never really somebody that would like terrorize me, so to speak. What about you? Any bullies?
Honestly, I think I had like a bully or two in elementary school before I got tall. But once I got tall, people stopped fucking with me.
So you were pretty much like the blueprint of Big Cass, like that promo he cut on TV.
Well, no, because I never went out of my way to bully anyone that I know of.
So. Oh yeah, okay. So Cass just took it one step further. He's like, wait a minute, I'm tall now. Payback time.
Yeah, because like I was like 5'11", 6 feet tall when I was like 11 years old. I was a freak. I grew really tall early. And then I just slowly grew a little bit taller over time. Cause like, it's weird. Cause like I had like this huge growth spurt from 5th grade to 6th grade where I was like I want to say I was like 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet tall, somewhere around there by the time I got to 6th grade. And I really didn't have any big growth spurts after that. It was like an inch every couple of years. And by the time I was like 20 years old, I was 6'6". And it was
Wow.
this slow, steady, gradual thing over time. Because like I could tell you when I was in high school, I was like 6'4". And then when I went to college, I thought I was 6'4" or 6'5", but then when I got out of college, I got measured and I was 6'6". So yeah, it was like this gradual, steady kind of increase in my height over time that started when I was 11 years old, that I just had this like instant growth spurt over the summer of like 2001, that I went from like 5'6", 5'7", boom, to like 5'11", 6 feet tall, somewhere around there. So
All right. Next question from Ella.
third and final question from Ella. What is your go-to meal when you eat out?
Funny thing is, we don't eat like out too often. We'll usually like have an order made and then go pick it up and then just chill and watch Netflix. So I'll say that our go-to meal, because we love eating Chinese food a lot. Lately, my go-to meal has been General Tso's tofu with scallion pancakes. It is fucking delicious. So that's my go-to meal. What about you?
Well, it depends on what you mean by eat out. If you just mean eat food that isn't already in your house, then I usually just get like McDonald's, like a 20-piece McNugget that I split with my mom and like some fries with spicy buffalo sauce. But if you mean like actual restaurant that you sit in at to eat, I would say my go-to is like Red Robin, and I just order a dozen wings with fries, and that's about it. And half the time I don't even eat the fries; I just eat the wings. That's
Right.
I'm not much of a go to a restaurant and sit in to eat kind of person.
Yeah, I'm the same way as you, bro. Absolutely.
So, all right, we've got 4 questions from Brandon Best. First up, if you could train any catch wrestler in the world, who would you pick? Was that meant to be train with any catch?
See, I was reading it. I thought so. I'll answer it both ways, and really, because it's the same answer either way. Love to train with Suzuki just to get inside that man's psyche, even if I'm left totally traumatized. And I would have loved to have overseen his training because dude's a fucking beast. So I'll say Suzuki for both, no matter how Brandon meant the question.
I mean, I can't think of any other catch wrestlers other than ZSJ, so I'll just say ZSJ by default.
And Brandon Best credit would train with. So yeah, I still say Suzuki. I still absolutely say Suzuki for sure.
And yeah, I'll stick with ZSJ because ZSJ probably trains with Suzuki anyway, so it would just be all 4 of us training together.
Transitive property for the win.
Yeah. Second question from Brandon. Who, in your opinion, has the nicest looking chin in wrestling? What the fuck, Brandon?
I mean, Johnny Mundo is an Adonis, so he's my go-to for everything. So I'll just say Johnny Mundo.
I don't pay attention to chins.
Maybe you should. Maybe
but
you
no,
just need to be more
I don't want to. No.
I love it. No, don't be absurd.
I will not pay attention to chins.
Oh my god, that was an actual sentence. All right then. Next question.
Hey, I'll tell you what though, if I had to answer just thinking about it, just thinking about faces, I guess I would say Becky Lynch.
I'm actually grateful to Brandon for this question because your reaction just made my fucking day today. So what else?
This is for you, John. This is a question for you, John. Thoughts on Elijah Witt's interview with Rhino Radio? Anything you took away or liked?
I listened to that today. Not really much, Brandon, to be honest. Like, he seems like a very mature artist that knows the direction that he wants his band to go in. And I mean, clearly it's working. They just provided 2 songs for the latest takeover. So yeah, he just seems like a very mature, level-headed dude. I feel like I would have gleaned more from his Twitter because you told me to check that out. And some of his stuff's funny. I don't know. It just seems like a good dude living his best life. That's really all I can tell you. So,
fourth and final question from Brandon. Taguchi versus Kushida for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, or Natalya versus Nia Jax Iron Man match? Which is worse? Oh my god.
I'd say Natalya versus Nia Jax.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because Taguchi and Kushida is just going to be like a 20-minute hate fest between the 2 of us. But Natalya versus Nia Jax, I would spend most of my time just paying attention to chat because that match is unwatchable.
Yeah, I would be spending most of the time trying to get the bamboo appropriately under my fingernails so I could feel something better than watching that match. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Next set of questions.
We got 3 from Dominique Adams. First up, what would you both consider your most memorable live reaction to any specific event on TWitWoW?
Easy, Johnny Mundo's Lucha Underground Championship win, because that was like a reaction slash speech, and I freaked the fuck out. So yeah, it's always going to be that, unless Andrade becomes WWE champion, then that could potentially rival it, but I doubt it, because that Mundo win was so emotional for me. So I'm definitely going to go with that one.
All right, so since Dominique did say both, I want you to answer for you and me, and then I'll answer for me and you.
Oh, for you, I'm trying to think. I wish I could have said Naito winning the championship at Wrestle Kingdom. Fortunately, I can't say that. You know what? The most memorable live because like you reacting to Asuka losing her streak was great, because the first words out of your mouth were, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And like that was just so memorable. And of course, I'm going to go by recency bias, but trying to think of all time, I know there was that one reaction I loved, because it was God, I forget what their tag team name was, but it was Kid and Cesaro. I think, oh yeah, BTE, I think they called themselves, best team ever, against the New Day. And we had both picked the New Day in our preview predictions. And like with 3 minutes left in the match, I switched sides to Kid and Cesaro because they had really grown on me. And then when the New Day won, you're like, ha, suck it, whore. And I'm just, you like shoving it in that you were right. I jumped like a sailing ship. So I forget what pay-per-view that was though. But yeah, that had me dying. And of course, please don't do this to me. I think that's the one I'm going to go with. Please don't do this to me, because that was a fucking gem. So that's what
that was our like post WrestleMania 32 live reactions.
I want to, yeah, that sounds right.
32, 31, somewhere around there. Oh, wow. So my personal favorite live reaction you have ever had was Marty winning the junior title.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
And my personal favorite live reaction that I've ever had, it's tougher. I would say it's one of 3 things. So I'm going to let you pick between these 3 for my answer.
Okay.
So first up, Puma Muertes from Ultima Lucha 1. Second off would be Naito winning G1. And then the third one would be Andrade winning the NXT World title.
You know what? I'm still going to go with, even though those other 2 events happened more recently, I'm still going to go Puma Muertes. Because when Muertes kicked out of the 630, and then like Puma kicked out of the flatliner, but then he got hit with the super flatliner, like I heard your voice go to levels that I wasn't used to seeing. And even though that did happen those other 2 times, that was one of the first ones, and I am a big believer that you never forget the first. So I'm going to go with that one, because that was a really memorable bit of commentary to join you with, for sure.
All right. And another one of my favorites, since you went full Schadenfreude with the "please don't do this to me," I'm going to say Sami Zayn losing to Baron Corbin 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, God, it never happened. It never happened, but it did.
But no, I said losing to Sami Zayn beating Baron Corbin 2 weeks in a row.
Damn it. But no, great picks, man. Next question.
Second question from Dominique Adams. How would the wrestling industry have been affected had Vince McMahon not bought out so many territories in the 80s?
Honestly, in a weird way, I feel like we'd still be in kind of a similar position, because I think the indie scene's very healthy right now. Maybe it would have been healthier, because like maybe even more places to work in the US.
I think that would have had a huge ripple effect, because really, if Vince didn't do it, what was to stop Ted Turner from doing it in the 90s then?
Yeah, almost like a counterfactual kind of thing. If this guy didn't do it.
Like if Vince didn't do it in the 80s, then really it's fair play. And that seemed like the territory is getting bought up by a bigger promotion. Seems like an inevitable thing that was bound to happen. So if Vince doesn't do it, who's to say Ted Turner doesn't do it? And we're dealing with WCW's shitty booking in 2018 in WWE instead of WWE.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. I like that counterfactual logic you invoke there. In fact, I liked it so much, I might just jump ship on that answer, because yeah, it probably would have been that. But I still think the indie scene itself probably would have been the same amount of health that we're seeing today, which is a good thing. But yeah, so seems logical to me.
All right. Third and final question from Dominique Adams. For each faction in New Japan, which member do you consider to be the most underrated?
I definitely think Ishii is the most underrated in Chaos.
And I agree with you on that. Let's talk about. I'm going to say Hiromu for Lij.
Definitely agree with you on that.
Okay. Oh God. Bullet Club. I'm going to say Tamatonga.
Agree with you on that. Definitely.
All right. What other faction? Taguchi Japan, I guess.
Now, who's in Taguchi Japan again?
Let me look. Taguchi Japan. Because at one point it would have been Ricochet, but it's obviously not anymore. Taguchi, ACH, David Finlay, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, Kushida, and Manabu Nakanishi.
I'll say Juice for that.
And I'll say Tanahashi because I think Boy can still go even with the torn bicep.
All right. Suzuki-gun.
El Desperado.
You know what? I'll go with you on that. I love that answer. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's easy enough. Then let's move on to the 4 questions we got from Super Blue. First up, can you call Naito's finisher the burrito and Mundo's finisher I love Taya Gardner?
See, now while I was recording these questions, I actually thought about this, and I came up with the perfect answer. We could do that. We're fully capable given our speech functions.
Damn.
But I'm not going to. So
he didn't see. That's the thing, though, is like you say you found out with the perfect. To me, I came up with the perfect answer in 30 seconds. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
No.
Next.
Second question from Super Blue. If Enzo hadn't been fired, would the cruiserweight match at WrestleMania have been on the main card? And if so, how would the tournament and then the quote unquote Nia angle, which they were doing but dropped after Enzo got fired, have played out?
Can I go first on this? Because I actually
please do, yeah, because I want inspiration.
I think Drew Gulak would have won the tournament because we were seeing Enzo bullying Gulak for his PowerPoints and demeaning him. So I feel like Drew would have gotten his comeuppance. And then I feel like that whole segment with Alexa and Mickey where she's like, I use Nia, they would have done something similar with Enzo. Like, you can't, I got this muscle, I can't lose. Like, you don't think I could ever really love Nia, do you? Oh, there's one word to describe her body, S-A, and, you know, doing the whole fashion thing.
That was amazing. I love that you just came up with that.
So, yeah, I feel like it would have been the same thing with Alexa, but you put in Enzo, and he probably would have gotten a lot more heat out of it, because whether you like Enzo or not, the dude could work a mic, and I am going to give him that credit. Anybody can fight me if they want. And I think instead of Cedric, who I love Cedric, and he definitely deserves this run, definitely would have gone to Gulak, I think. So that's my answer.
Yeah, and I definitely don't think that it would have been on the main card just because it's still the cruiserweight title and WWE doesn't give a single fuck about it.
Yeah, that I will agree with you on. I was waffling a bit on that because, like, Enzo really was a great personality for the division, but it is still the cruiserweight division, so I'll agree with you on that. Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with you as far as the Nia thing goes. I think that they would have done the exact same thing where they just have Enzo use Nia for a little while and then dump her and do the same thing you said, talking about, you know, basically playing along with, maybe he even ends up with Bliss. That would be interesting. And
yeah.
It's a power couple. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, definitely.
They just make fun of Nia together and leading up to Nia beating Bliss at Mania. I think that works. So yeah, I'm with that. Third question from Super Blue. Rank from best to worst. Nia, Cameron, Brandy Rhodes, Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, Eva Marie, Ronda Rousey, and Natalia.
Okay, so from best to worst, I'm going to, because this question was on my pinned tweet, so I'm just going to pull up my pinned tweet so that I can look at the list because I have trouble visualizing things in my head.
While you're doing that, I'll see if I can do this to the best of my ability.
All right.
So at the top of the list, I am apprehensively putting Ronda because she's like the most tolerable of this group to me. Then second, I'm going to put the superior Bella, which we have established, which is Brie. Then behind her, I'll put Nikki Bella. Then Natalia. Then, because I do think she was improving before she got released, I'll actually say Cameron. Then Nia. Then Eva Marie. Then Brandy Rhodes.
Okay, since we're working from best to worst.
Correct.
I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to agree with you on Ronda because the presentation I feel like is strong enough. Like, but then behind her, I would put Natalia because even though she sucks as a personality, the in-ring work is good. So just be sure to can you just I hate to ask this of you, Ashton, can you record my answers for me this way I don't lose track? So I'm
sure.
I'm saying Rhonda, Natalia, since again we're doing best to worst. I will agree with you about Brie. Then Nikki. Then Naya. Then Cameron. I haven't seen enough of Brandy Rhodes. I know she's been having more matches, but I haven't been able to watch them.
Yeah, she's still fucking trash.
And Eva Marie, honestly, when they were using her in NXT, like, she knew how to get heat, and, like, you know, she really used it to her advantage. So I will say Eva and then Brandy Rhodes. So we'll agree about those final two, Eva Marie and then Brandy Rhodes. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Next.
Fourth and final question from Super Blue, just for Johnny Scumbag. Cut a promo on Alberto El Patron career, losing his job on TNA, that kind of stuff.
Oh, we're here again, Patron. You worthless piece of shit. Oh, I had to worry about my family. It was my kids. That's why I didn't know show. No, you didn't know show because you're an unprofessional sack of shit. And then you want to curry favor with people that you were like, oh, they were racist to me. And then you immediately go back. And then when you're out again, you're like, oh, I want to go back. Remember, it was all Paige's fault. So you blame all of your problems as a grown-ass man that grew up pretty much in wrestling royalty in Mexico on this young girl that honestly, like, I could say a lot about your relationship, but I won't because I'm trying to control the gag reflex. You're an abomination on this business, and the best thing you ever did was convince Andrade Cien Almas to stay, which I'm glad you did, because now that shows you'll never get back in the door because they already have the superior fucking version on every conceivable metric. The best thing you could do for the business is just leave your boots in the ring, take the laces, though, so you have some material to fucking choke yourself and die. You worthless sack of garbage. I fucking hate you. And if I ever have the opportunity to spit in your face, I probably wouldn't take it because my saliva could go to better purposes. Die. There's your rant. Next question.
I wanted to get you a little golf clap there because you deserved it.
I live for your golf claps, so thank you.
Up next, we got 4 questions from Iconic Player 1. First up is, for me, top 5 favorite rock bands. Ooh, because he originally asked top 5 favorite rock bands of the 2010s, but I told him, like, I haven't really listened to rock music this decade much, if at all. So he basically just said top 5 favorite bands in general. And we're just going to go with top 5 favorite rock bands. So number 1 for me, Led Zeppelin. Just all time. I just fucking love Led Zeppelin and really pretty much any and all of their music. And before you say it, yes, I am aware of Greta Van Fleet, and I'm not a huge fan, although their lead singer does a great Robert Plant impression, Robert Plant impression. I just don't feel the same soul from them that I felt from Zeppelin. Maybe in a few years they'll get there, but right now I just don't see it, don't hear it. After Zeppelin, second favorite rock band of all time. Shit, I should have put more thought into this before we went live because holy hell, I can't think. Can I just say the Jimi Hendrix Experience as a rock band, even though it's really just Jimmy and whoever the hell else was with him at the time?
I mean, that should work.
I think Iconic is even in chat, isn't he? Yeah, Iconic is in chat. So yeah, I guess I would say the Jimi Hendrix Experience, but then I guess since we do want to get a little bit more recent, those are the 2 big, like, older, like, vintage rock bands that I fucking love and that I listen to and that I just adore. So then third one I'll list that's a little more recent is kind of more rock, pop, punk, pop, really. It's like, especially recently, they've gone to a lot more pop, but still they have roots in punk rock. So I'll say All Time Low would be number 3 for me, because that's just another one of those bands where I can just play them. And I have their first 2 CDs on a playlist in order from the first CD to the second CD. So it just transitions. And I can just play that playlist on loop for hours on end. I love All Time Low, or at least I love older All Time Low. Number 4, God. You know, I haven't listened to these guys anytime recently, but for a period of time, I would have told you that my favorite band of all time was Alter Bridge. So I'll just put them at number 4 on my list here because I just absolutely loved them for a long time. And to this day, like, I don't hate their music. I still do enjoy their music. I just don't listen to it much anymore. I don't consider Pink Floyd to be rock. I think Pink Floyd created their own sort of genre of music that I wouldn't classify as rock. Otherwise, they would be on the list too. But yeah, so I'm not going to put Pink Floyd on this list for that reason. Otherwise, yeah, I do love Pink Floyd, but I don't consider them to be rock. So then number 5 would be, God, this is really difficult. John, you know me pretty well. You can't name any like suggestions, can you?
Nope.
Damn, I'm all by myself on this one. Shit. Um, God. Damn. This is not easy for me. Because the thing is, like, I listen to a lot of music, but I hardly listen to any rock anymore. So,
Were you ever a Living Color fan? Because I know they're the cult of personality for punk.
nah. I mean, I like that song, but I wouldn't call myself a fan. You know what? I'm gonna say Kill Switch Engage. Kill Switch Engage is gonna be my number 5 answer because I just recently had a Kill Switch Engage kick, and I enjoy their stuff quite a bit, or at least I enjoy their older stuff. I don't know if their newer stuff is any good. I haven't listened to it yet. But yeah, so those are my 5: Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix Experience, All Time Low, Alter Bridge, and Kill Switch Engage. So that's my answer. I'm okay with that answer.
All right.
Second question from Iconic Player 1. This is for both of us, and this is I'm just read exactly what he has. So when he says me, you know what he means. Iconic Player 1. Me versus Brandon versus Sal versus Cliff. Hell in a Cell. Who wins and how much carnage do you guys expect?
I'm picking Sal to win because I just feel like he'd be probably the most intelligent and good-looking person in that match with that hair. So he'd want to preserve the hair so he's not going to bleed like a stuffed pig. Probably going to be a lot of carnage because Brandon's into the hardcore stuff, so he'd probably be like the mankind of that match, introducing all the weapons. I fully expect Cliff to bleed because he's been a disappointment and everything else, so why not this match? And
yes.
Yeah, I definitely see Sal getting the win, pinning Cliff, because I mean, again, jobber, natural function, makes sense. So
I'm gonna actually pick Brandon Best to win because I feel like he's the most willing to get violent because he's like the emo of the group.
Yeah, I'll see Asia's with me on Sal. Way to go, Asia. I knew you were the smart one. So,
I mean, maybe like if Sal can find a way to reason with the other 3 and just have them just give up and pin them on their own free will, I guess. But I don't believe that Sal is going to beat these guys in an actual wrestling match or in a fight.
I mean, the only downside for me is the math is pretty straightforward since you can't even add Kurt Angle to the mix. So it's I don't know, pretty difficult. But I'm still confident in Sal. I believe in you, Sal.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Brandon Best, just because again he's got the violence tendencies and that kind of stuff. How much carnage? I mean, Brandon's in the match, so immediately I'm thinking, yeah, he even just said I was gonna say barbed wire, light tubes. Probably a flaming table, if not just legitimately just setting somebody on fire. I don't know. I feel like Brandon would go pretty fucking far. He would go like because that's kind of Brandon's shtick is that
dude's not afraid to die.
No, I don't even mean that. I mean like he takes jokes and makes them worse by taking them to the ultimate extreme. And he takes things to the extreme in the literal and figurative sense. So why wouldn't he go too fucking far in a wrestling match too?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Third question from Iconic Player 1. How far into the future will DIY reunite, and will they be heels or baby faces?
I'm actually going to use the Shawn Michaels Triple H template. They started feuding in 2002. They reunited in 2006, so 4 years. I'm going to give DIY 4 years, and they'll be baby faces. Because I just can't conceive Gargano as a heel, but we've seen Ciampa as a face, and it's decent enough.
Honestly, I'm going to go a little shorter than that. I'm actually going to say 3 years, just because I feel like the story that they're telling is that Ciampa is being a huge piece of shit, not because he wants to, but because he feels like he has to. So, I think that him being this gigantic piece of shit is going to cause some scarring for sure. But I think that it's the kind of story where Gargano will be able to forgive him sooner than if it would be like Ciampa just hates Gargano's face.
Right. All right. You're saying 3 years. I'm saying 4 years. Next question.
And I agree they would both be faces then because Ciampa would reconcile with Gargano and make up for it. Probably save him from some other bigger asshole.
All right.
Fourth and final question from Iconic Player 1. Would you rather fall on a pit of snakes or scorpions? I've actually thought about this, and I'm going to answer first. I'm going to say snakes because as long as you know how to handle snakes and you don't hurt them and you know how to keep yourself calm, you're not going to get hurt. But if you fall in a pit of scorpions, you could get stung accidentally. They don't know how to put their venom glands away because they're little sharp pointers on their tails. Snakes at least can close their mouths so that you have the option of not getting bit, which is how you get venom from snakes. Whereas with scorpions, you fall on one the wrong way and you just automatically get injected with venom just because you were unlucky.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with all that. I mean, I didn't put nearly that much thought, mind you, but I was also going to say snakes. So snakes.
Yeah. All right. Now we have 4 questions from Mark Schoeneman. First up, at this point, are Charlotte and Alexa just modern, moderately better, not actually twin versions of the Bella twins?
That sounds reasonable.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say absolutely not because the Bella twins can't fucking talk and Alexa Bliss can.
That is true. Yeah, I think just for that reason alone, I'm going to have to redact my answer. I'm going to have to agree with you. No, because at least Alexa can work on mic. But I could see where he was coming from because the Bellas had great presentation, I feel like, and so do Charlotte, especially Charlotte. But at the same time, though, that presentation I feel like has been pretty contained. Is Alexa Bliss on Total Divas or no? Because we haven't watched that.
Yeah, she totally is, definitely.
Oh, okay. So that also would have. I'm still gonna say no, though. I'm gonna because I agree with you about the mic work at least. So yeah.
Yeah, because. And really, Charlotte is bad on the mic, but for completely different reasons than why the Bella Twins were bad on the mic. Like, to me, Alexa Bliss is the antithesis to what the Bella Twins were. Alexa Bliss can do a lot of the things that the Bella Twins, that I dislike the Bella Twins for. Alexa Bliss is a convincing actress. She can emote. She has great facial expressions and body language. She feels genuine, and she can cut promos. Bella Twins had none of that shit. So even if Alexa Bliss, you could even argue Alexa Bliss is worse in the ring than either one of the Bella Twins. And I don't even know if I would agree with that take, but I do think it's a valid take to have. She does so much other stuff so much better than the Bella Twins that it's not a fair comparison to me.
Yeah, you know what? You put it that way, you make a convincing argument, sir. So next question.
Second question from Mark. Using 6 degrees of separation, can you connect yourself to someone who's well known, and in how many steps?
I'm just gonna say no, I can't. Because
that's no fun. What a cop out.
Dude, I can't though, because I was even thinking about it when I recorded that question. I just don't know. Like that very question overwhelms me, if I'm honest. So I'm just gonna be like, no, I can't.
All right, I can do this in 3 degrees of separation. I'm gonna really challenge myself. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Actually, no. Fuck it. 2 degrees of separation. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Chris DeJoseph follows me on Twitter. Chris DeJoseph used to work for Vince McMahon. Boom.
Oh, wow. And I guess I was friends with Adam Cole before he really blew up in PWG and all that stuff. So, yeah, I guess that's my degree of separation from somebody talented. And I have interacted with him legitimately a few times. I'm sure there's a message history in there somewhere. So it's my connection to Adam Cole. So there you go.
There you go. Third question from Mark is just for me. Since the last time I asked, have you checked out anyone from this season of The Voice yet? And I hate to tell you this, Mark, but no, I have not. Sorry. So, fourth and final question from Mark. What theme of a wrestler you don't like do you... Oh, yeah, okay. So what theme of a wrestler who you don't like do you love? And also, what theme of a wrestler that you like do you dislike? So basically, find a wrestler that you like whose theme you hate, and find a wrestler that you hate whose theme you like.
Well, given that I don't really like Gargano too much unless he's suffering, I'll go with his theme because it's genuinely good. And then when it comes to a wrestler that I love but the theme I hate, I would have been able to say Baron Corbin because I did not care for his old theme at all, and I love his new theme now. Who do I hate that I actually like? Whose theme do I hate, I should say? Nakamura just got a beastly upgrade, and I loved his old one anyway. Yeah, this is hard for me.
Yeah. Oh, I have a really good answer for a performer whose theme I love, but I don't like the performer.
Okay, who?
Dana Brooke.
Okay. And you know what? I just figured out the wrestler that I love, but the theme I hate. Because we just got a little taste of it. Drew McIntyre. I'm not caring for that new theme much at all. So,
See, I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
see, and I thought you didn't like it at first when we were live reacting. Is it just
Well, yeah, when we were live reacting to it, I didn't like it because I didn't like that they changed the original NXT theme. But when I like go back and like rewatch it and like see people live react to it and stuff, I actually really like the added war drums because it makes it sound more impactful.
It seems like a lot going on to me. Maybe I have to go back and listen to it again. But for now, that's just going to be my answer until
I can dig it though, man. I can dig it because the whole thing is, what wrestler do you like whose theme song you're not a fan of? So that works.
Yeah.
This is a lot harder for me though, because I feel like even if I don't initially like a theme song, if I love the wrestler, I grow to like their theme song anyway. So this is a really tough one for me. This is so difficult for me. Can I use previous themes, like a theme that somebody used in another promotion or like a few years ago or something like that? Because even then, like I could have said Charlotte's original NXT theme, the Spider Rockets theme that she had. I loved that, even if I wasn't a big fan of her. But then the other way around, I could also say Adam Cole's New Japan theme was fucking trash.
Right.
And you know,
I gotta be honest, that New Japan theme grew on me after a few listens. I was like, Adam Cole, baby! So, yeah.
You know what, though? Thank you, James, for giving me the ultimate cop-out, Cesaro.
There you go. There you go. I'm still waiting for that fucking theme to change, and it never will. CFOs, you fucking liars.
All right, so fourth and final question from Mark. If Roman doesn't win the Universal title at the Greatest Royal Rumble, then what was the point of this feud?
Yeah, I don't really know what the point was. Actually, and that was Asia's question, by the way, because I'm looking at the sheet. I think Mark's final question was the theme question. That was
Asia's question. It was. So yeah, this was actually this was Asia, the Bullet Club versus the Shield. This is her first question. If Roman doesn't win the Universal title at the Greatest Royal Rumble, what was the point of this feud? I'm going to say the point of this feud was a futile attempt to get Roman Reigns cheered. That's all it is.
I'm just gonna agree with Ashton because like that's literally what it was. If he doesn't win at Greatest Royal Rumble, was just, well, certainly we can draw sympathy. You know, I think the crowds with Roman Reigns, they actually prove the adage false. Sometimes you can't get blood from a stone. So there you go. Next
up, second question, actually second and final question from Asia is thoughts on Cody Rhodes beating Kenny Omega. I mean, we watched it and it was bullshit, and the ref bump pissed me off. But I don't.
Yeah, everything about that was sort of shit. Yeah,
because it's Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor doesn't fucking matter in New Japan. Like,
yeah, like it was bullshit. I'm still in pain. I actually had been able to reduce down to 40 therapists. Then I went back up to 80 after that bullshit.
Wow, you doubled. Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, you're fucking right. It is. Fuck Ring of Honor. Fuck Cody Rhodes. I could really say more offensive stuff, but we have questions that are more important than my ranting. So yeah, it was bullshit, and Kenny will always be better than Cody. Even Kenny at his most overrated, he's still justifiably better than Cody on every metric. So fuck Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. All right.
Next question.
Next question. We've got 4 from Javaris Carter. What are your thoughts on the new God of War? Sorry, Javaris, haven't played it.
Haven't played it. Next.
Second question from Javaris. Thoughts on the upcoming Dragon Ball Super movie?
I'm excited for it. I'm keeping an open mind to it. What about you, Ashton?
I wasn't even aware of its existence. So
I thought you watched the. Oh yeah, I guess I don't know. I'll have to show it to you, I guess, afterwards.
What's it supposed to be about?
I don't know. It was just a teaser's been released so far. But it's a new powerful enemy, so now Goku's gonna have to get even stronger, which is pretty much the point of the whole fucking series.
Yeah, that's Dragon Ball in a nutshell.
It's the most video game anime in existence. So
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm more excited and hyped for whatever the next series is.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you there.
Whether it's, Dragon Ball Super 2 or some other version of Dragon Ball or whatever. I'm more excited about that than the movie. just because like I might just avoid watching the movie because the last two movies got completely rehashed in Dragon Ball Super anyway. So why bother watching the movies if they're just going to rehash the movie storyline in this TV show at a slower pace?
Yeah, I definitely agree with your logic on that, bro.
All right. Third question from Javaris. How hyped are you for Infinity War?
So fucking hyped after listening to a few non-spoiler reviews with Ashton last night. It's still going to be a good while before I see it, which I know is kind of answering another Q&A question, but I'm hyped as fuck for it for sure.
Yes! I can't wait. It's going to be so good. So many people are going to die.
I know. I'm getting a chub just thinking about it.
Fourth and final question from Javaris. How do you think Roman feels knowing that he will never be 1/10 as cool as Tama effing Tonga?
It's irrelevant.
Ah! That's amazing. I kind of want to give another answer, but that's too good of an answer for me to try and taint. So I'm just going to move on.
Yes.
Question from Ace the Skylord. We've got 3 from him. Have you watched Black Panther? Sorry, Ace, but
no. I can't wait to, though, Ace. Can't wait to.
Second question from Ace the Skylord. Will you be watching Avengers Infinity War sometime over the next month or so?
Ashton, I think you will. I won't be, though.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can see it in theaters in 3D sometime this coming week over the actual week, like during the week days, because if I go in the early afternoon during the week, I might actually be able to get there during a relatively like chill time with a relatively empty theater, and that's kind of my goal. But yeah, I do plan on seeing it in theaters in 3D at some point over the next couple weeks, really ideally next week. So that's my goal. Third and final question from Ace. It was a longer one, so I actually just copied the link to the tweet. Over under 15% that over the next few months, we will see SmackDown become the battlefield for a 3-way faction war between the club led by AJ, a new version of Chaos led by heel Nakamura, and an LIJ shoot-off or offshoot led by Andrade and Zelina.
I love everything about that, but I'm still going to say under.
Yeah. You could have set the over-under at like 3%, and I probably still would have said under because I realistically think the odds are 0%.
If that happens, though, and it's handled the way it should be handled, that will easily be storyline of the year material. Yes. Like, Jesus Christ.
That's why I'm saying, though, like, I refuse to get my hopes up for something that amazing happening on WWE television.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, so, unfortunately, got to stick with the under there. Up next, we got 2 questions from Stella on Twitter. First up, I know you hate Cody Rhodes' guts, and quite frankly, he deserves it, by the way. But would you have hated him less if he had his current American Nightmare gimmick if he had just stayed in WWE to do it?
I'm going to answer this, and I'm going to answer it transparently. No, I probably wouldn't have hated him as much because I loved him in WWE, which tells me, right, and this is where I have to get off my high horse, I'm just as much a victim of quality presentation as anybody else. Because, like, they presented him so well, and I think, like, you know, WWE character matters more than in-ring. And Cody, I feel like, was always a better character performer than an in-ring wrestler. So I feel like had he stayed in his lane, I probably would have loved it. I'd probably still be coming up here and talking about how he should be WWE champion. If I'm really being...
I actually do agree with you on this because to me, what I hate about Cody right now is that he hasn't adapted to his surroundings. But in WWE, his surroundings wouldn't have changed, so he wouldn't have had to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate Cody now because he's the most boring, drawn-out, tedious match on every card he's on because every card he's on has amazing, fun, exciting matches, whether it's Ring of Honor or New Japan, and he drags everything down. Whereas on WWE, his matches are just another match on the card that feel like everyone else's matches, so I don't have a problem with him. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So yeah, that's my whole thing. Second question from Stella. With the on-screen characters of Brock Lesnar, or will the on-screen characters of Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman ever be interesting again?
For me, no.
Well, no. See, I'm going to do a little bit more nuance here. I'm going to say no to Brock Lesnar, but I think the only chance Paul Heyman has of this answer being yes is if he ever ends up managing someone other than Brock Lesnar, which I think is a possibility, as unlikely as it might be.
Okay, you know what? I like that qualifier you put. I'm pessimistic about it because I think Brock and Paul are a package deal. But if by some miracle that wasn't the case, like Brock's over the hill for me, I want him fucking gone. I'm over it. And if not gone, I want him working with other talents that don't involve the Universal Championship. So you could still get your money matches, but then have the Universal title separated from all that. With Heyman, I'd love the first ever Paul Heyman girl, and I'd love it to be like a Shayna Baszler type or something. Like, I think that'd be cool. And I don't even think Shayna Baszler's a bad talker, but like having the hype machine that is Heyman behind you, especially with new talent where he could be a bit reinvigorated, would be nice. And I specify that too because this isn't the Brock. Well, it is the Brock Lesnar that beat the streak, but we're a bit removed from the streak now. So they wouldn't do like a bitch job like they did with Cesaro, where it was so little about Cesaro and more about, oh, I managed the guy that beat the streak. No, the focus would be on the client. So yeah, I'd love a Heyman Shayna Baszler kind of tandem personally. So yeah, I can get with you on that.
Even though she didn't necessarily ask this, you kind of turn it into this. If I had to pick the perfect next Paul Heyman guy / girl, I'll tell you who I would pick, John. I would pick fucking Ricochet.
Oh, I like that because he can't talk for shit. So
all Heyman guys over the years have come in all different shapes and sizes. The first one was Brock, and you would feel like, oh, well, if that's the prototype, then they've got to be in incredible shape. They've got to be freak athletes. They've got to be super strong. They've got to be, this kind of stuff, and they can't be able to talk. But then it was Big Show. Remember? He was the next Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah.
And the Big Show was nothing like Brock Lesnar, except he was strong. Big Show can talk. Big Show is definitely not in amazing, like, torn up shape, or at least he wasn't back then. He definitely got closer to that recently. And Big Show is not this like freaky athlete, although he's definitely athletic for his size. He's just so huge that it's hard to be an athlete at that size. And then who was the next Paul Heyman guy? CM Punk, who's nothing like either one of those guys and really didn't need a mouthpiece at all.
Right.
And then the next Paul Heyman guy after that was Ryback, who was basically like the closest thing that Paul Heyman has had since Brock Lesnar. But then the other Paul Heyman guy that we know of was Curtis Axel. And he's nothing like any of those other guys in the sense that he's not anywhere close to as talented as any of those other guys.
Right.
So maybe Paul Heyman, because he is constantly updating with the times, maybe Paul Heyman's next guy isn't a big, intimidating guy or a talker. Maybe it is this, like, he calls himself the future of flight, the one and only. Ricochet makes a lot of sense, and especially because then he doesn't have to talk. Paul can do the talking for him. You cover up Ricochet's only weakness with Paul Heyman and make it a strength.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that. I want that now. That's like perfect situation to me.
All right. Next question.
Like that's the pairing that goes from Ricochet being in 205 Live to Ricochet competing for the Universal title.
Right.
Next set of questions. We've got 4 from Jackie. First up, who in your opinion are the best non-American wrestlers? That's like a really easy choice. Cause like my favorite wrestler in WWE right now is from Mexico, and that's Andrade.
Yeah, definitely Andrade.
And like Nakamura is up there, and I mean all the New Japan guys.
Tanahashi, yeah.
And Kenny Omega's Canadian. He's not American, so Kenny Omega's up there.
Yeah, I feel like you and I would have all the same answers on this. Because like
this is a really broad and question, and it's really easy for us to answer. Second question from Jackie. With a second Mae Young Classic, who do you want to see in it?
Big number one woman I want to see in it, Taylor Hendricks. I'd love to see Taylor Hendricks in a Mae Young Classic. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Io Shirai, but wasn't she even confirmed for it or no? We still
not that I know of.
Well, then Io for sure. So Taylor and Io are going to be the two that I say.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with both of those names. And God, I feel like I have to add at least someone.
Oh, and then I'll add your girl to round.
I was going to say, yeah, Priscilla Kelly.
Priscilla Kelly, yeah.
Yeah. And really, I mean, if we're talking about people that are free agents that can be signed that aren't locked down in Stardom or TNA or Ring of Honor or Lucha Underground or anything like that, Priscilla Kelly should just win the damn thing.
Absolutely. Oh, and I'll add a fourth person because I think she's far better than Viper. Which I know is going to get like some flack.
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace. Yeah, Jordan Grace. So those are all the women I'm going to submit because I really don't even know that many women to begin with, and I feel like I made quality picks, so I feel pretty good.
Definitely, I agree with you. Yeah. Third question from Jackie: what do you think of all the possible celebrity president candidates for 2020?
They're all trash.
Thank you.
Just like,
thank you. No, I'm not even. No, we'll just end it there. That's perfect. I'm going to end it there. That's my answer. They're trash. We need to just stop. The presidential election shouldn't be about celebrities. It should be about fucking politicians and people that actually understand how to get shit done in the White House.
Yeah, I am not going on another political rant this Q&A. I am tapped out. Let's go to the next question.
Yeah, fourth and final question from Jackie. If you were a Pokemon, which one would you be?
I feel like any fire type, because I remember in one past Q&A question about Pokemon, I said I really like to burn things. So I guess a Charizard, because my temperament, I don't get along with others, and I just want to breathe fire all day. So that seems about right.
Wow. I would choose to be Alakazam so that I could have a 50,000 IQ.
Awesome. Next question.
Next, we've got 4 questions from Ben Jr. First up, thoughts on the greatest Royal Rumble. I'll let you go first for this one, brother.
I really am just going to use your soundbite here. Glorified house show. Although I will say, to give a bit more of a nuanced answer, I understand why WWE is doing it. You know, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, how could you host an event in Saudi Arabia? This and that." I think WWE wants muscle there. I think they want a proof of concept, and then I think when that is, it's like, okay, you want us to come back. Let women compete on the shows. It'll be great press for you, great press for us, and it'll make a lot of money. So I get why they're doing it. It's a strategic maneuver. It makes sense. I ain't fucking watching it. I think it's a loaded up card that to me makes no sense because a week later is fucking Backlash. And that makes no fucking sense to me. But I don't think a lot of titles are going to change hands. I gave my predictions here and there about it. The biggest thing that might happen is Roman Reigns finally gets crowned Universal Champion, and then, that all horse shit. But, the show is honestly whatever. It's going to happen, then I'm going to forget about it 2 weeks from now. Because my mind, honestly, is on Money in the Bank this year with the stacked fucking mid to upper mid card we have this year. So, yeah, I don't really care. You?
Man, I don't really have a ton to add. I probably will end up just watching the Greatest Royal Rumble match and reading the results for everything else. But yeah, it really, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. You kind of, said what I was going to say other than that. So I guess we can just move on. Up next, what is the music that you are currently listening to?
I know Panic Era came out with a new song recently, and I've been listening to that quite a bit. Again, Breaking Benjamin's been coming out with good stuff. And then just my usual playlist of Panic at the Disco, because I fucking love Panic at the Disco. Bit of Stained, but of course that's their older stuff. I don't think Stained's made anything in a fucking while. 3 Days Grace, hate their newer stuff because I don't like their new lead singer at all. So that's the older stuff. And yeah,
they don't have Adam Grantier there yet anymore?
No, he's in a new group, dude. And in fact, funny thing, I listened to some of that new group, didn't really care for them either. So it's like, wow, nobody won in this situation. And by nobody, I mean
downgrade.
That's me. So yeah, that's really all the music that I'm currently listening to. I can't really think of any other acts that I'm listening to currently that I'm like, yeah, I'm riding with this. What about you? Because I know you were really excited about Chromeo, was it, when we were playing Rocket League?
Oh yeah. Well, they just put out a new song that I do like a lot, and they had the other song, that You Got the Juice song that they had a couple, like I guess a month or two ago that they just put out. But yeah, they I mean, I like their stuff. Really, I just still have this big ass like current music playlist that I play all the time. It's the current hits playlist. And it goes back to like the beginning of 2017, but a majority is recent stuff. Like I've got there's actually a new song out by Anne Marie called 2002 that I love. That's a really good one.
Nice.
Let's see. BB Rexa. I think she has a new album coming out in June that I can't freaking wait for because I love BB Rexa. I love her music. She's great. Let's see. Calvin Harris has a new song out. I think that's with Dua Lipa on it. Yeah, it is. Calvin Harris and Dua Lipa called One Kiss. That's pretty good. The Weeknd, Call Out My Name is pretty good. I have a lot of music on here. Done For Me by Charlie Puth with Kehlani. I love Kehlani, and I love all of Charlie Puth's music that he's been putting out recently. Yeah, I've got a pretty wide variety of pop music, just different types of pop music. Mike Shinoda has a new song out called Crossing the Line that I dig.
I should check that out. I need to check that out.
Well, I think I have it on the playlist, so you'll probably end up hearing it at some point over the next couple days. Bishop Briggs finally dropped her studio album, her first ever studio album, and I dig it. It's pretty good. And really, just recently, I've been listening to a lot of Killswitch Engage and All Time Low, which I actually mentioned earlier in my top 5 favorite rock bands list. So there you go. Third question from Ben Jr. Thoughts on the incident at Starbucks with the 2 black men getting arrested?
I'm gonna make this very quick and in before hypothesis says, but white people were also arrested. It's still fucking bullshit. I don't care if it's black, white, whatever. The idea that you could be waiting around for a friend when all Starbucks does is serve shitty fucking coffee in the first place with people pretending to write manuscripts. It's bullshit. Like, you call the cops, well, I'm not going to get into that. Let's just say if I was like a normal thinking person, I'd say you call the cops when somebody's at gunpoint or being robbed or something like that. You don't call the cops when people are waiting in a place for a friend. I don't care what the fucking race is. Like, and I think it is especially bullshit given the climate that it was 2 black men, but that's another matter. I think it's stupid. It's stupid. It's wrong. And I'm glad those guys were apologized to, but it should have never happened in the first place. So fuck you, Starbucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I just think if anyone can get arrested for just existing in a public place, that's fucking stupid. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, so all right. So fourth and final question from Ben Jr. Any guilty pleasures?
I that's a very broad question. So like I don't even really know like what do you like, is there anything specifically he's thinking of? But regardless, because guilty pleasure, I always feel like
just in general, is there anything that you do or consume or enjoy that you feel almost like embarrassed that you do or consume or enjoy it?
I mean, probably, but I wouldn't say it here. So yeah, I mean, according to our chat, us enjoying Alexa Bliss's promo work might be a guilty pleasure. So I guess I'll go with that. It's like, oh, how dare you? So yeah, and I'm enjoying Dolph Ziggler again. So yeah, I'll say that. It's my fucking guilty pleasure is Dolph fucking Ziggler. So just to give James more of a reason to leave me. So there you go.
Yeah. No Foster. We aren't a guilty pleasure, you dick.
Yeah, asshole. No, I'm just kidding. I still love you, Alex, but still, ouch.
Right? Like, geez. Yeah, I don't really know. Guilty pleasures. I haven't really listened to them currently or recently, but I would probably qualify a group, really just a duo of musicians that I used to listen to a lot and still love their music to this day. And we'll probably listen to a hell of a lot more over the summer because they make amazing summertime music that is not like it's one of those things where like it's music that you like that you know isn't objectively good music, that you know like music snobs would be like, oh god, that's terrible, why would you listen to that, but you still like it anyway. And that for me is Swayze. If you never heard of Swayze, it's Swayze is the name of the rapper. It's like Aaron something or other is the guy's real name. Swayze stage name. And then his producer and a guy that does a lot of the singing and vocals on his tracks is named Cisco Adler. And those guys are a duo that they just call themselves Swayze. And their first 4 albums together, and really the only 4 albums that they made together, because then they split up, were amazing for summertime. Just turn the volume up in the car, put your windows down, drive on the freeway, listen to the Swayze as you drive. It's amazing. I love Swayze's music for summertime. That's why I haven't listened to them in a few months, because I feel like they really are the best summertime music. But still, I would qualify that as a guilty pleasure. So that's all I can really think of. First question from Alex Foster. John, do you have any podcasts other than TWitWoW, obviously, that you might want to talk philosophy with? And then he did specify other than Philosophy Bakes Bread. And then he also said that it doesn't even have to be a specifically focused on philosophy podcast, just a podcast in general that you would want to talk philosophy.
The only one that I can think of is Drunken Philosophy, because I've actually tweeted at those guys, and it's pretty much like 2 guys. One of them got a degree in philosophy, and they drink beer and they talk philosophy. I don't think I necessarily drink beer. I'd probably like bring my own stuff. But yeah, like if I was to ever do it, I'd love the idea of just having like this semicircle, getting drunk with people and just talking fucking Plato or existentialism or just any kind of shit like that. I've just always loved the idea of the podcast, and they're really cool guys. So yeah, Drunken Philosophy would probably be my pick for that.
Nice. All right. I'm going to sit up for this one because this next question is for Steiner. So I'm going to sit up. So the question is to Ashton Steiner. He specified Ashton Steiner. John and Ashton are making their way to the ring for a tag team match, and you're the ring announcer. How would you announce them? So I'm gonna just think a little bit. I'm gonna channel. I'm gonna get in the zone, get in the mode, make sure that I'm focused. John, I'm curious if you have anything that you would like to contribute, any suggestions that you would like to make for how you would like your name to be ring announced.
You should definitely go low on my disability, since Scott Steiner always fat shames people. I think he always goes for their pain points. So definitely target that. Yeah, that's really all I can. Oh, and I'm definitely a nerd. So if you want to target that, I guess you could as well. That's pretty much all I can lend you on my side.
Oh, man. All right, here we go. Making their way to the ring right now, you've got a couple of freaks that don't know what the hell they're talking about because they never laced up a pair of boots in their lives, and they're about to get their asses handed to them in a way they didn't ever think possible. One half of Team TWitWoW. He stands at about 4'3" tall and needs braces to walk because he was born to a couple of parents that tried to abort him and failed when he was a kid. His name, I don't even give a shit because he doesn't fucking matter because he's about to get obliterated and we might see him in the obituary tomorrow anyway. So maybe then you'll find out what his name is. And this other fat ass might be a little on the taller side, but I could still whoop his ass in an alley any day of the week. I don't give a shit about his name either because he's probably not even going to make it to the ring because he's probably going to die of a heart attack halfway down the ramp. This is Team TWitWoW, but all you're going to know tomorrow is that they are Team Dead Wow.
Wow. Next question.
All right. Third question from Foster. Anime characters who would be the best/worst on the podcast.
Worst Goku would be the worst because
did you say?
Light Yagami would be the worst because we say one cross thing and we have our names written in his death note.
Goku would be the worst because he's fucking stupid.
Yeah, he is fucking stupid. Golden Frieza Sama would be the best because we could all do the laugh together. Yes.
I can tell you've been practicing. It's gotten a little better.
Dude, I was practicing today alone in the house and it felt fucking great.
I knew I could tell. I could tell, man.
Let me think. Because I've watched other anime. You know what? Midoriya from My Hero Academia. He'd be pretty cool because he's a nice guy. And we just have to make sure that he wouldn't use his quirk and kill us all. Bakugo is a fucking temperamental asshole and needs to learn his fucking place and need to learn that he's always going to be mediocre and just need to fucking deal with it. So
I mean, technically, since it is an anime, I would want to have Tiger Mask W to actually talk about wrestling.
Yeah, there you go. That's the answer right there. Let's move on to our next question.
All right. Fourth and final question from Foster. Wrestlers you think could be flat earthers?
What is it? AJ Styles. I mean, I they say it was a gag, but you know, Ronda's probably a flat earther since she's already a Sandy Hook truther. I mean, you might as well complete.
Big Cass, totally a flat earther.
Yeah, Big Cass. And I'm going to stop at those three. AJ, Ronda, Big Cass. I'll stop at 3.
All right, that's fair. We've got 4 more questions left from Abel. He crowdsourced them. First up, what are your predictions for Money in the Bank winners and which champion will each cash in on?
Andrade. Just Andrade, and he's going to cash in on AJ fucking Styles.
Oh, man, that's crazy. My Money in the Bank. Well, are you going to pick a female?
Oh yeah. Sasha Banks. And she'll cash in on Ember Moon.
Damn. That's some hopeful thinking right there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. my male Money in the Bank winner. God, I want to say Andrade too, but I don't know. Who did you say Andrade would cash in on?
AJ Styles.
All right, I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to say Andrade wins Money in the Bank, cashes in on Daniel Bryan.
Oh, yes, ruin his life.
And my, and my female Money in the Bank winner is going to be, let's see. Oh man, this is not easy. Shit. This is really hard for me because I'm just trying to project a few months out for the women's division, and it's like Ronda just cast this huge shadow over the women's division. You know what? That's what I'm going to say. Charlotte wins Money in the Bank and cashes in on the Raw Women's Champion at the time, which I'll just say is still Nia. I don't care.
Okay, fair enough.
We get Charlotte on Raw for the Ronda feud at WrestleMania.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's going to be my answer. Second question from Abel: where do you see TWitWoW 5 years from now?
Making bank. No, but no seriousness. I don't know. I don't know, man. I hope that we're a bit bigger than we are now. I mean, we certainly have the grind to be, you know, with all the recordings that we do. And I feel like, especially lately, like you said, we're the true workhorse of the YWC. So 5 years, that seems like a good amount of time for something significant to happen. So yeah, I mean, hopefully just bigger, you know, and reaching more people. I would love that. So
yeah, I would agree. Hopefully in 5 years we have over 3,000 subscribers, considering it's been about 5 years. Actually, it's been 4 years since we started this, and we're at 1,500. So hopefully in 5 years we're up over 3,000. Hopefully we are maybe actually caught up on progress by then. It seems like a far-fetched thing, but it could be possible.
Right.
Hopefully in 5 years, here's a little bit of an interesting prediction. Hopefully within 5 years, PWG is able to air their monthly, and I hope they will be monthly by then, shows on either a television show or a pay-per-view or an iPay-per-view or on Twitch or something along those lines. And we're able to live react to them as they happen rather than having to wait 3 to 6 months for them to actually drop on the internet.
Yeah, that's a great prediction for me. I like that.
Yeah, and hell, maybe you never know. Maybe one or both of us got a gig commentating or doing like an after show, like an official after show for Lucha Underground or something like that.
Yeah, I love that, man. Completely agree.
Yeah. All right. Third question from Abel: what are some foods you always wanted to try? I want to go first here because the one food that I have wanted to try for months, if not years now, is a fresh, picked off of the tree coconut.
Ooh, I love that answer.
Because there's this thing, and not even actually, I shouldn't even say picked off of the tree. Because here's what I really want to try: when a coconut gets mature enough to fall off of the tree, it will start trying to plant roots into the ground, and a little sprout will start coming out of the top of it. And that sprout, once it gets to like 2-ish feet long, you pick the coconut up out of the ground, you break it open, and there is this big spongy substance on the inside of the coconut that is just soaked in nutritional and like vitamins and supplements and stuff like that. And it's super nutritional and super like dense in like really good stuff. And it's also got some bad stuff in it too. It's got like fats and stuff like that in it that apparently tastes delicious. So the number one thing that I want to try is a coconut sprout. It's called like the heart of the coconut, basically, and I want to try it really bad.
Oh, I love that, especially given that I've tried to incorporate like more stuff like that into my diet. Yeah, I might even have to piggyback off that. But also, I've always wanted to try like authentic Indian curry. Like I've always wanted to try a curry dish. And then I don't know if I would be so psyched about this anymore, but I know like a few years back, I've always wanted to try one of those Japanese blowfish, you know, the ones where you have to like sign the waiver because there might still be a bit of poison in there. Like I'd love to take that gamble, but I'd probably wait till I was older and be like, I could die and, you know, it'd be all right. So, you know, I'll say I definitely agree about the coconut. Curry is definitely my big thing. Like I'm very enthusiastic about trying that one day. And then, yeah, Japanese blowfish because that just would be fun as hell.
And you know what? Hypothesis even said it, so I'll agree with that. I've always wanted to try Five Guys, but I don't know if I ever will because they're so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
All right. Fourth and final question from Abel, and the final question in the 2018, April of 2018 TWitWoW Q&A. Do you think the planned TakeOver NXT Championship will be Ciampa versus Gargano versus Black?
That actually sounds like an amazing triple threat. I think takeovers traditionally usually like their title matches to be one-on-one. I know they've done multi-person matches before, but it feels like a while since they've done that.
They usually build the card around it, though, if it is. Because remember, the one time that I can think of that they had a multi-man match for the world title in the main event, the name of the show was literally NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way.
Right. So I'm going to say no, because honestly, it probably would just be like Black versus like a Ciampa or something. But I could see.
Yeah, I think it'll just be one-on-one Black Ciampa.
Yeah, I agree with that.
God, if Ciampa wins and we introduce the world title of that story. Oh. All right, guys. Crazy enough, it is exactly 8 o'clock. The draft is about to be underway. We are going to take a little bit of a break, but we will be back in time for probably the second overall pick, I'm guessing. And yeah, we're going to be going live reacting to the NFL draft. It's going to be a lot of fun. And just the first round for tonight. So that's all we're going to be doing. We're not going to live react to dates 2 and 3 tomorrow and Saturday. No plans on that. So yeah, man, anything else you wanted to get out here?
No, just thank you all for submitting your questions. Next Q&A. Let me just get that very quickly.
Oh, and by the way, I do want to say, guys, please try and remember progress in May is up in the air right now. So if you do have any interest in joining the Discord or just really are really attached to progress reviews and want to make sure that we do it, donate to the Patreon, because that is up in the air. It's not a guaranteed thing right now. It could go away for the month of May, unfortunately. And I really think nobody really wants that to happen. So I just want to really get that out there. Make sure you guys are aware of it.
Yeah, so I'm glad you got that out there, Ashton. For me, I just want to thank everybody that submitted questions. Q&A next month is going to be at the end of May. May 31st is going to be our next Q&A. I have to take care of a few things when we go off, but I will get the pin tweet up. You guys already know the drill. James has already got his questions in. So YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, 4 questions per Q&A. Divvy them up however you like, and they could be about pretty much whatever you like, except for roleplay questions. I really want to start doubling down on that. No more roleplay questions. It's Q&A, so question and answer. And if you're going to be a bit more inventive and a workaround, do like Shay did, Luna Corva, with that one like multi-part questioning. That racks the brain and it keeps it to wrestling and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say for now, because I know we're going to switch gears soon. So I'm going to let you take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed the Q&A. I'm not even going to bother plugging anything else, because right now all I really care about is making sure you guys know about the Patreon and progress and that kind of stuff. And plus, most of the people that are watching this video are people that ask questions who already do everything that I would have asked them to do in the outro anyway. So we hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. Remember to get your questions in for the May Q&A, either reply to John's pinned tweet once he gets that up, or just leave a comment on this video or really any other video, and I'll get around to that. And hopefully you guys either are going to be here for, I guess if we do progress in May, we'll see you for that. Otherwise, we'll see you for NXT next Wednesday. Or if you are into football or just want to continue hearing our lovely voices, then you can tune in probably like 15, 20, maybe like a half hour at the most, coming up here, and we will be live reacting to the NFL draft. I'll be providing analysis. John will be providing the casual fans' perspective, asking questions I wouldn't have thought to answer otherwise. And we'll see you wherever it is. But regardless of where it is, you got to remember to stay tuned.